What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday afternoon, wherever you are. This is Enter the Black Dragon, EBD for short. As some of y'all know me on these YouTube streets. Anyway, I thought I'd come on and talk about a few issues. It's been a while since I've done a live. I'm on YouTube right now, but I'm also on TikTok. I wanted to see if perhaps I can do like a simulcast. I'm not sure. Um, I'm not, I mean, yes, I'm a software engineer. Yes, I do software for a living, but I'm not a streamer by any chance, by any stretch of the imagination. I do not do this every day or all the time. Um, but I have, in
Sir, what's
fact,
big about the
hang
shutdown?
on.
Libs got to quit whining.
Hang
We're
on,
not paying
hang
for
on, hang on, hang
Obamacare.
on.
So what do you use? I pay for my own health care.
This is TikTok right now, so don't want to get any warnings or strikes or whatever. So I'm going to go live. I'm going to try and go live on my TikTok and see if that works without any trouble or issue. I need to get a good angle. You'll need to bear with me. Um, yeah, okay, so I'm going live on TikTok. Okay. And there I am. And I am now live on TikTok and YouTube. So you're getting me in simulcasted from two angles. I know there's certain words on TikTok and probably YouTube you're not allowed to say, right? But um, I'm gonna try and well, the things that I have to say on my live is gonna be probably not with my water bottle. Don't mind that noise. The things that I have to say should be hopefully friendly for both platforms, right? So I just wanted to come up and like maybe discuss like a few of my ideas that I've been contemplating lately as I've been living life, working, going through life like everybody else, And I think one of the topics that I wanted to like discuss, I guess on a political basis, is that like Americans deserve better, right? Like what I mean by that as a topic is like I mean that in generic cases, right? But I mean Americans deserve a better government. They deserve better representation. They deserve a better education. They deserve better pay. They deserve better jobs. They deserve better hours. They deserve better health care. Um, they deserve better retirement. They deserve healthier foods. They deserve better and the fastest services that money can buy or that technology can make available to the general consumer public. Um, um, they deserve a lot of things and are willing to like put in the work, time, and investment to have them. The problem is we just don't have a system of government that can respond either fast or efficient enough for to keep up with like the demands of modern 2025, right? So yeah, that's just one of the topics and ideas I had that I wanted to kind of express because I've been kicking around this idea. It's dumb. Well, not really dumb, but I've been kicking around this idea that that I've been, paying attention to, social media and the rest and the news and all that. I used to be a political junkie back in 2000, 2001, something like that, around the era of 9/11, because I didn't think that politics, for the longest time, I didn't think politics really um, affected your day-to-day everyday life, like from when you wake up to when you go to bed. I thought the smack that people talk is just exactly that, right? It's just smack, whatever. They get elected, they don't, win and lose an election, and life turn, the automatic invisible arm of government and the system that it controls and wields would just go on automatic forever, right? You don't really have to worry about its stewardship because these systems that were in place to help everybody and social mobility, social economic mobility were just there for everyone to kind of use to climb that ladder. But what starts to happen is when the wrong people are elected, you have these policies that go into place that put the greater society and consumers at risk, in which you have an unstable economy. As an end result, people are losing their jobs. Because they're losing their jobs, they're losing access to affordable healthcare, housing, things of that nature, automobiles, the necessities that they need to get by day to day. And then if that happens, it's a failure of the private sector, and then the public sector, which is the government, has to pick up the slack. We're talking unemployment, we're talking food stamps, we're talking, all these things. So it's a delicate balance, the social structure that we have, and it needs to be severely reinforced. In 2025, there should be a system in place that measures how much people make or how much people are worth or valued on the open job market. And based on that value, you should have access to certain like opportunities based on your skill set. So whether or not you have like either a diploma or a degree or work experience, you should automatically be a part of this pool in which you have a career or you've had a stream of different jobs in that field, that career field. So this would involve, like smart machine learning, AI. Working with government that's kind of intertwined with government, state and local government, that would be able to identify who is currently employed or isn't employed, and would require social services in order to, make it to the next day or the next month or whatever. And if you had a more efficient system that tied to these social programs, you'd be able to know who would need the most help and to be able to assist people so that you want to prevent, I mean, for me, I want to prevent like homelessness. So only way to prevent homelessness is to take empty apartment complexes or empty houses and fill them up with people who are living on the streets. Once homeless people have a home or a residence, then they can start applying for benefits and also getting back into the job pool and being able to apply for jobs or qualify for labor work um, that they might be open to doing. So, or training programs such as education or school or vocational learning. Those I believe that the types of training and infrastructure that's required in a 21st century, 22nd century United States is going to require an all hands on deck thing. I think that building the 21st century United States or the modern United States is going to take a monumental effort and an idea that's big enough for everybody to get behind. For instance, if there are faster ways of travel, when we're talking about whether it be trains or airplanes or even cars, like we should look into the more efficient ways of traveling faster in order to get from place to place because that opens up job opportunities. Like, for instance, I live in Texas. Dallas is a 6 hour drive for me from here to there. If there's a corridor, um, a interstate corridor where a car or a vehicle is allowed up to like 110 to 120 miles an hour to get from one destination to another, or a special type of road or back road that'll allow these types of high speeds in order to travel these longer distances. Then you have people who can work in different cities on a daily basis, or even on a hybrid basis, like maybe multiple days a week, or things like that. Then you have I believe hyperloops. Hyperloops are faster because I believe they exist in a vacuum space that's able to connect from one distance to another. And I think that exists out in California, Australia, some places. I think the last time I checked. Um, but if we're going to implement but if we have the imagination to implement like 21st century technology that can get people from place to place, then you're opening up more avenues of people, of transporting not only goods but people too. So you're going to have more farmers be able to deliver their goods to other places and expand out their markets. So there are several different ideas, like when I mean America deserves better, like we deserve like top-notch technology to be implemented here in America, and only Americans can get together and build these technologies. But we need more inventors who have money, and more billionaires who invest their quote unquote billions into the people who can see and implement a future of mass transit. And uh, and I don't know. It's going to take everybody in order to create a better future. It's not going to take this group of people or that group of people. It's going to take everybody, but it's going to take a real look at ourselves in order to kind of get over this mentality of it's for us and not for them. They're over here and we're over there. We're gonna have to all work and live together in each and every city, in each and every state, in order to like survive and prevail as a country. All of the negativity and hate and um, bigotry and all that, it's not it's not going to get us anywhere, and it's not going to make your life any better. It's not going to make you feel any better. um like waking up to hate someone that that you disagree with politically is not I don't know if that makes your coffee any sweeter, or if like your bacon's any more crisp. I don't get that. um we live, I believe, right now in 2025 in an indecent time, where indecency is more currency than being decent. I am an 80s baby, and in the 1980s, decency was currency, and people who were indecent were most likely talked about and cast out. You were shamed publicly for being indecent. You weren't promoted, you weren't elected, you weren't you weren't hailed as a hero. No one no one voted for you. But I mean, we live in different times now, so I just think we live in an indecent time where indecency is currency now. Now, the more bombastic and more verbose and the more negative and ugly and hateful you are, the more attention that people give you. And I don't know. I decided I'm not gonna be I can't be a part of that. I mean, I am a part of it, but what I'm saying is I don't want to be a contributor, right? I'm not gonna like I don't want to use my platform for contributing to the negativity. Yeah, sure, I'm up here talking about it, but I'm not going to perpetuate it in any shape or form. What I'm going to do is mention that when I'm growing up, when me personally, when I'm growing up in the United States of America, in the America I grew up in, I grew up on Sesame Street. I grew up on Mr. Rogers. I grew up on, I don't know, Muppet Babies and Fraggle Rock and things like that. And Eureka's Castle. Like I grew up um on watching television programming that taught you how to be decent to people who are not like you at all. Like I grew up in a time where like being decent to somebody who's not like you is the right thing to do and a good way to be. I grew up in a time where um, helping older people walk across the street was commonplace and is practiced, and it's hailed as being decent. Like you weren't doing anything special. You were doing things that you were supposed to be doing according to society that I grew up in. So the society I grew up in like taught you decency and ingrained it in you, and that's how we all became better Americans. At least us, quote unquote millennial, whatever we are, 40 something year olds. Yeah, it opened the door, for people that's been ingrained and helping people carry heavy things or get. Well, I'm 6'3", so helping short people um, reach something tall. It just comes with being 6'3", right? Yeah, I'm trying to get the pancake mix right there, right there, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I just reach and then that's it. But uh, um, opening car doors. I mean, just all the little minutia things of chivalry and decency were the things I grew up with, and I if there's any wish I had is to bring that back, but we just don't live in those times anymore, and that's what really sucks. I think that's the disappointment. Me being as older that as I am, I'm old enough to say I wish things were the way things used to be. And I mean, you missed it. If you weren't an 80s baby like I was and you were born in the 90s or the 2000s, you missed it. You really missed something special in the 80s. Um in the 80s, the 1980s, America was a completely different place because it was special. Um the music, the hair, the clothes, the style, the language. Hell, come on, man. Even our movies about detention were cool. I mean, come on. Um, we had indecent, like, like, um, like comedies about seeing a woman's top or something like that, or that was about as like raw as it got back then. Um, Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of like think about it. We saw the I grew up seeing the original HBO, like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax. Um before and all the shows that they used to play like MTV, when they played music. VH1 when that was out. So so all of these channels and all of this technology and all of these shows, I've seen a great evolution. I've been a gamer since arcade, and I've been a gamer since Nintendo. Now I had my dad had an Atari, but he didn't know how to put it together. He was missing the power cable, so I can never play the Atari, so the Atari never worked. But I did own a Nintendo. My mom bought me I had to get I had to get straight A's in school in order to get my Nintendo. Um, we're talking $300, I think, for my Nintendo. It included the Nintendo, the Zap Gun, and the Power Pad for running. So she bought me that. I stayed up all night playing that Nintendo. That I'll never forget it. But the point being, sorry for my little like nostalgic rant. But the point being, it was a time where um kids played outside 90% of their free time. 90% of my free time was spent outside. Even if you had a Nintendo, back then it took only like maybe a minutia of a percentage unless it was like Gauntlet or something. Or Mario 3. I don't know. It depends. Remember, Nintendo does not have a save point. It has no memory. So you have to, if you're playing a pretty hard game and it takes a while to beat it, you have to leave the Nintendo on and you have to pause it and just leave the Nintendo running until you can unpause it and complete the game. But you spent only a percentage playing video games. Most of your day was outside talking to other people. You had friends on your block. You had friends on the next block. If you were in an apartment complex, you had a gang of friends that you would go outside and knock on their door and be like, "Yo, man, can Roman come out? Or can Ray Ray come out? Can Chris come out? Can Adam come out?" And you get the whole gang together. Back in my day, and you were playing football, you were playing kickball, you were playing stickball, you were playing tag, you were playing TV tag, you were playing wall ball. You were going to the school so you can hang out at the playground and like talk about the girls or whatever, which one you like, which one you don't like. Da, 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 da. Um, you were talking about what you want to be when you grew up. You were talking about movies. You were doing stupid impressions. You were talking smack. When you were my age and growing up. Now, what does that turn into in 2025? When I go down the street, your typical street, kids do still play outside. That's still a thing. I'm glad it's still a thing, but it isn't 1980s playing outside. 1980s playing outside, we used to actually get the newspaper that was delivered to us and make kites out of them and go and like fly kites out in the field. We don't see as much playing outside anymore, and that's due to, the modernization of technology and the availability of, interconnecting online and talking and making friends online through a chat on, Call of Duty or whatever. And that's fine. I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, but it in the modernization of connecting and being hyper connected through technology, we lose something, right? We lose something in the real world. We lose the ability to actually connect on in the real world. Where social media is one type of connection, but it's artificial. It's not real. A real interaction when you're sitting across the table from someone or sitting right next to someone is something that cannot be duplicated or cannot be replaced or can't be simulated. That experience is authentic and genuine, and you can feel more of what a person is or isn't trying to communicate when you're talking to someone in person versus some Zoom meeting. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that yeah, my first point is Americans deserve better, and the only way we can um, get there is by seeing each other as Americans and treating each other as such. Like, I've thought about this for a while, and it's like, I think of it like this. Like, if everyone saw each other like, um, like as Americans who were born here, like you would discover a completely different society. You know why? Like, here, let me explain some things. Looking at me, you're not gonna tell that I like heavy metal. Like I am into heavy. I am the biggest metalhead since the 80s. We're talking Metallica. We're talking Guns N' Roses. We're talking Iron Maiden. We're talking Black Sabbath. We're talking one of my favorites, AC/DC. Um, we're talking Pantera. We're talking Anthrax. We're talking Megadeth. Um, yeah, I'm a metalhead. Like Like it is what it is. Um, in the 90s, from the 80s and the 90s, I'm all about Nirvana. Um, Bush was cool. Um, Nine Inch Nails, um, Deftones, um, Smash Mouth. You know, like there's a lot of like metal bands that I'm just like into, and you would just never guess by looking at me. If you saw me as an American, then all of these bands, number one, shouldn't surprise you. If you've heard them, what makes you think I didn't hear them? And if you like these bands, what makes you think I don't like these bands? Like, 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 like every time I'm like jamming out to Nirvana in like my car when I had it, my Challenger, I would get the strangest cross-eyed hold up, is that is that yo, is that dude listening to like Come As You Are? Like, well, yeah, it's like my favorite. But I mean, you're not. I mean, looking at me, you're not gonna tell. I mean, yeah, I like hip hop and rap and all that and the hardcore stuff, and yeah, I like alternative and I like uh some electronic stuff too, and maybe a wee bit smidge country, some of it. Not don't You're not gonna find, no. Don't invite me to the whole country. I'm not going. But um, yeah, we like a lot of things. Like looking at me, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what happened. I bought the very best of Sheryl Crow at Best Buy, and dude who scanned the CD was like, oh. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, this is the very best of Sheryl Crow. What? I'm like, you don't seem like a Sheryl Crow fan. I'm like, really? What does a Sheryl Crow fan look like? Like what the hell? But it's like, hey, I mean, okay, fine, whatever it is, what it is, and I understand it. This ties back into my point, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you saw me as an American, I'm like, yeah, I've heard of Sheryl Crow. You don't think I like her music, dude? But beside the point, right? I do like Fleetwood Mac too. I like a lot of Stevie Nicks and stuff. So I like a lot of 80s music, 90s music. I like a lot of 70s. Some 60s was cool. Some of the 1950s I used to listen to in one of my classes when I was going to National Institute of Technology. So 1950s music is cool. Um, like there's a lot of movies and entertainment in music and art and uh TV shows, and there's a lot of things that we share just as people, and if we just saw each other as the same thing, as a person who was born here, we all saw the same TV shows, we all saw the same movies, we heard the same music on the same radio station, and if we just start talking and communicating like what our interests are and what we like, you'll find that in society you have a lot of things in common with other people who don't look like you at all. I mean, that's not such a bad thing to, and that isn't that how friends are made? Aren't friends made because they share a common interest or a couple of things in common in interest? They'll go to concerts, they do things together that you know they enjoy. So yeah, I mean, that's just one of my topics. Okay, I've been ranting a little bit, but hey, that's what these platforms are for. So let's see. My next topic that I was gonna get to is um modern dating can be saved by, right? Like modern dating, like dating in general. And I mention this because I'm an American, which means I have a TikTok and I have a YouTube, and I've seen the videos lots and lots of videos of frustrated people, frustrated Americans expressing their disappointment in the modern dating market. That's what I see. And and I think most of it is social media. I am going to say social media plays a negative role. Um and I say that because the more we're like I said before, well, the more we're hyper connected artificially, the more socially in the real time disconnected. And we have to get back to the real connection, which is in the real world. Now, what happens is like, yeah, I'm inside right now, and I'm only artificially connected to people who are either on this live or on YouTube or on TikTok. But when I step outside my apartment, I understand that there's people out there, and these people see me and I see them. Whether or not we interact is going to be based on a number of things, and one of those things is your social cues. Like, a lot of people need to be open to displaying and relearning social cues and how to interact with random people who um, who uh, who don't well, random people who you have nothing, you have no knowledge of, right? Like strangers. Just because someone is a stranger to you does not mean that they're dangerous or that they're a potential danger, right? This is the same like American that occupies residency in the same city, same neighborhood, same country as you do. I mean, if you recognize these people every day as just Americans, just as you are, you'll find that you have a lot of things in common and that you want to grow your friend circle. You can turn for example, when two people get together, the friend circle kind of come up, right? You meet my friends and my circle of friends and who I hang out with, and likewise, I meet your friends and who's been in your life, right? You want to kind of intertwine that Venn diagram of two people who don't know each other getting to know each other. And in dating, well, modern dating is mostly one of the things with modern dating that's wrong is the apps, right? The apps are trash. The reason the apps are trash is because you're only going to be able to display a single dimension of yourself on a profile. um I myself am developing a dating app, but it's an AI integrated dating app. That's different. It works differently. um, it'll take a more multi-dimensional view of a person to match up with, and this and that. There's a couple of different ways of how it's going to work and work together with your smart phones and things like that. And it's made, though, my dating app is made for people who are interested in meeting someone in the real world in real time. So you'll not only match with people, but you'll find that the places that you go to, there are other people who go to that same place, and if they have an interest in you and you have an interest in them, you'll have a chance to actually interact with them in real time, and you'll both be able to confirm that you're both ready to be approached or do the approaching. So, it's kind of I don't know. I mean, the only reason I even thought of this is because of how many videos I've seen of women complaining about men not shooting their shot, but men aren't going to shoot their shot because first of all, they're not, the rejection isn't worth it, um, and you don't want to, like, a man has way too much to lose on the off chance that he's misreading a woman's social cues. So it's just not worth the gamble. I mean, you might as well play the lotto or go to Vegas before you approach you. A man will lose $100 on a gambling table and walk away, but approach a woman, I mean, you have a lot more to lose, like you can lose like a piece of your self-respect if you're disrespected the wrong way, or if it's a circle of friends and they're all mocking and rejecting you, even though the person that you're shooting your shot is kind of open to receiving it. So there's just too many like variables that don't add up for modern men to approach modern women. I myself and I guess modernized only because I no longer approach women the same way I used to. 20 years ago, in a land far, far away, I was a completely different person. I mean that in every sense of the word. I mean, I could go up to me and my homeboy, go to bars. I'd be that dude that be able to approach like a circle of friends. I actually prefer circle of friends because I got jokes for days, right? I got like interest in all of them. So my game here's I guess I'll give you my game. So my game is to look for the girl. If a circle of friends, they're all drinking a shot or they're all drinking. I do find the one friend who isn't drinking, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up? How you girls doing? How you ladies doing? What's up? Hey, what's up over here? You not drinking? Like you designated driver? You mommy or what? You know, um, are you like the chaperone? Like, what's up?" She's like, "No, I guess no, I just didn't think of it." So if she's open to me buying her a drink, I'm like, before you commit this, fashion social faux pas, how about we just get you a drink? Let's get you a drink. Come on, let's not look bad in front of your friends. Come on. I'm just not like that. And then we'll just go get a shot, and I'll get her name, blah 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 blah. Go back to the friends. We start talking this and that. So I used to that's my whole thing about groups. Like that was my whole MO. Like you find the woman who isn't drinking and you buy her a drink. If it's more than one girl, buy them both a drink. Back then I had it like that. I had an open bar tab, and the shots that I would get, like I get a discount because I'm buying other women's shots. So I get to, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, at a bar or a club, I was the dude going around getting shots and like getting names and getting numbers and stuff like that. So I had more of a success rate, and you had nothing to lose because social media wasn't a thing back then. The thing that was back then was MySpace, right? And no one was doing live streams on MySpace, and 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 Instagram wasn't around, TikTok wasn't around. I don't think Twitter was around. I think it was 2005. Anyway, Twitter wasn't what it is now, right? There was no streaming back then. So, um, uh, a lot of things could be done, and nobody knew, right? Nobody knew anything. But so I guess in some ways I lucked out, right? I wasn't recorded. I was never, lambasted online or anything like that. So back then I am able to go around into the market and go from person to person and female to female and groups to groups and make new friends, talk some shit, get some numbers and make a play. But now with like the social shaming and the, oh well, this is the guy. Can you see the guy? This is the guy. It's like like no way. Like why? Like it's not, first of all, it's not cool. It's not cute. It's not funny. And you don't want anyone doing that to you. So, like I just don't see men going around with a camera humiliating, women, oh look at her and this and that. Um, I do see men saying like look at her, but we usually like what we're seeing. But yeah, modern dating, I don't know. I think wholeheartedly, like, in order to have a successful relationship, you need to be able to get off of social media. You need to be able to disconnect. As hyper connected as you are to social media, it should be just as easy for you to just disconnect and focus on the real world, and that includes the person that you're with. Um, yeah, you can text your significant other, but if you're in group chats, if you're in like 6 or 7 group chats, like, and you got a girlfriend, like, get off the group chats and be like, hey, I got a girlfriend, I'm gonna hop off of these groups for a while, focus on this, and then just disconnect, and then just leave the groups, and then just uninstall the app, and just be done with it. Be done with all the alerts on Instagram. Mute everything, or uninstall the app. You can always reinstall the app later. Um, get off of TikTok. Get off of any kind of social media that involves other people or other groups or other rooms, and just be in a healthier relationship. I think that if you're able to disconnect from these apps and these social things, you won't be on your phone. You'll find yourself being able to focus more on the relationship and the other person. You'll more likely be open to talking to the other person and communicating more efficiently. You'll more likely want to spend time with that other person doing these things, having these hobbies, doing the simple things. And simple things, I mean, just by going to concerts, listening to music, and watching movies, going to the park, playing video games, or watching one another play video games. Whatever it is, like, you'll be more in the space of your spouse rather than cyberspace. And I think when you have a relationship, and one person's like, you're both just on your phones, then I mean, you're busy spending time with other people. You both are, rather than spending time with each other. So I believe this is one of the problems that modern dating poses. It's all of the apps on your phone. You do not, once you're in a relationship, you do not need any social media apps on your phone. It is a huge distraction. You don't need it. It's not a requirement. You need to focus on the one person that you're with in a relationship and dedicate all your time and attention to that one person. Now, I'm not saying they're the only person on planet Earth. I'm not saying cut yourself off from all of the real friends that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. What I'm saying is social media is a bunch of random strangers talking a bunch of shit, or making a bunch of videos and content that you consume on a daily basis, or semi daily basis, or hourly basis. Every time a new video releases, you get notifications, and you want to see the toxic things that people are saying. You want to know the news, you want to know the tea, you want to know the gossip, and that's just not conducive for a healthy relationship in dating, or in getting to know someone, or when you're living with someone. So um, I just think that we have to be willing to disconnect from social media, which is these platforms, and not echo chambers. Well, some of them are, but these platforms and speakeasies of all things um, angry and negative. Um, for instance, I was on someone else's panel, I think, and someone said something so effed up and disturbing to me, and I'm like, "Yo, did you really just?" And I got so unnerved by it. But this isn't a person that I'm ever gonna see in real life. This isn't a person I'm ever gonna interact with or see tomorrow, or suffer consequences from. Why am I letting this person get under my skin? And it bothered me. But whatever they said bothered me. It bothered me enough to where I couldn't even get sleep that night. So, you have to learn how to, like, completely disconnect yourself from other people's opinions and focus on what's real in your life and tangible, such as your coworkers at work, or your immediate family members, or the people that you hang out with that are your friends in real life. Um, so yeah. Also, modern dating, I think, can be saved by compromise. The word compromise, um, like like I was saying, like, we live in an indecent time. Like, compromise is such a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. It's a word that allows your relationship to work no matter what relationship it is. Like, you can't walk into any type of relationship, whether it be your job or your personal life or your career or your team collaborative effort, thinking that your way is going to be the only way that things are going to go. Like that's not how anything in life is done. Anything in life is done takes compromise and everyone to give up something that they may want. um, Everything in life is negotiable. You don't get to sit there and tell somebody this is my non-negotiables. No, everything's negotiable. Um, like you have to be willing to also see the long game. Even though you don't get what you want immediately, and even though you don't get everything at the same time, you can save off and prioritize what you need, and then um, put on the back burner what you want for later. I mean, I think a lot of people in the modern era forget how long life really is. Life is a long, long experience. um Waiting for 1 year or 2 years in order to acquire something that you really want, such as a marriage, or such as a long-term relationship, or such as that dream job in your career field, all of that takes time and investment. All of that does not happen the same time length of popping popcorn before you watch your Netflix movie. The generation, I mean, like I guess yes, I come from a different generation. I had to watch the movie or watch the television show when it came on, or I missed it. It's Life was as simple as that. You saw it or you missed it. And you were not to be expected a rerun. No such thing. Um, now things are, well, did you see this season? Like what? But I mean, now, right? 2025, we can see the whole seasons of the show and talk about it rather than just an episode. But when we're talking about dating, and we're talking about the approach, and we're talking about dancing, we're talking about well, I'm a dancer as well. In case you haven't noticed any of my who I am, dancing's my thing, right? So dancing was at bars and clubs is how I meet people. I've been outside for the past like 20 something years, so I saw the turn in the evolution and de-evolution of DJs and what songs they play and how many bars and clubs were open and closed, and what's going on, and why isn't this person doing this with that things like that. Um yeah, and I notice it, and I see it. Like I get the clubs I and bars I go to, I don't get ID'd. Um, well, the reason I don't get ID'd is because I go so often. It's one of those things um, where I go to a place enough times, and it's like, we know who you are. Come on in. We've seen your ID. Da, 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 da. And it's nice to be able to have that kind of repertoire with bouncers and your bartenders and things like that. Um, Anytime you go out. So I'm not as the social butterfly that I once was. I go out by myself a lot. I go out by myself. I've been going out myself the past 20 years, but I'll go out with my boys or my friends. But for the most part, I like to explore the world myself, and I have enough confidence and self assurance in who I am in order to just be out there by myself, or have my drink and approach a group of women, but or a woman. But these days, with social media, recently I haven't, right? I just haven't. Not lately. Not my job. I currently work for a gas station, and at my job, I have to interact with strangers every day. Hey, here's your food, or here's your order, or let me scan you out, or can I help you find something? I have to be out of my shell. I need to be courteous, respectful, and kind, and I have to be forward. And it's gotten me thinking like, here's the thing, I can do this for my job, right? I can be like forward for my job. I can look someone in the eye and be like, hey sir, yeah. Oh, the coffee cups, yeah, over there. Yeah, I'll get some. Oh, that we're out of stuff like we're out of stuff right there. The thing in the back, no more Coke, no more. Well, let me check in the back, see if we got some more Coke, and I'll switch it out, and then I'll let you try again, and we'll see if we can get you some Coke. Something like that. I can interact like that all day. It's job related, it's food related, it's whatever, right? For my job. I interact with strangers all the time. Outside of my job, I don't say two words. I don't say anything to anybody. And I find myself like kind of really closed off to society only because of this modern social media thing, because I don't want to be like recorded like saying something, or that guy that said something. So I'm a part of the problem as well, to so to speak. And uh until I believe, this is my sincere belief, but until women as like a social group, as a gender, come under one shared idea that uh, that um, you have to be open to being approached to people you are and are not attracted to, like only because men are going to be kind and respectful no matter what their chances are. Like I mean, it's what's up, girl, what's good, or whatever. But until with one voice, how you said don't approach, the same voice is gonna have to say, yeah, approach, because we're ready. We as a gender are ready to receive all men. And until that is communicated every single day, as loud as Me Too and Time's Up, as loud as that was, the green light is going to have to be just as loud. The green light. The green light's going to have to be given just as loud, because right now, men are at a red light. Men are stopping. We didn't got a yellow light. We don't have a green light. We have a red light. A red light means stop. Until the light turns green, nobody is going anywhere. That should make sense to everybody. I don't care who you are. Well, you're an American, so I do care about that. But until like an entire gender gives another gender the complete green light, no one's going to move forward. No one. We're just not. And I understand it. So, I mean, a couple of key things like uh for this. Let's see. I was looking up some social media stuff, and well, not social media stuff. I pay attention to social media and podcasters and shows and and content, whatever you want to call it, right? I consume content just like everyone else here. I consume like some manosphere and some dating podcasts and um some UK dating podcasts and some um, there's some female podcasters that I also listen to. So I try and get a slice of everything to see, like, the truth is going to be found in the middle, right? It's never going to be this and it's never going to be that. It's going to always be found here. So that's kind of where I wanted to kind of focus. So I wanted to read off my notes, right? And I call it the relationship Rosetta Stone. And I wanted to kind of read this off and hopefully get an idea of what you guys think. Maybe, right? So I'm just hearing this. This is some of it's, I'll tell you which ones maybe my opinion or not, but let's just go through the words, right? So, like, well, it's the relationship Rosetta Stone. Well, it's what I named the file anyway. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm a nerd. Doesn't matter. So what? What men don't want. So, okay, so this is, I guess, a list. Okay, so no tattoos. I don't know if that's true. Your hobbies can't be going out to every bar every weekend looking like a 304, they say. No heavy makeup. Yeah. No eyelash extensions. No super heavy eyeliner. No shopping addiction. No piercings except ears. Be ready to leave in 30 minutes or less. I personally like that one. No super long fingernails. Do not be an idiot. Do not be overweight. Has to have a fitness routine. Good with kids. Knows how to cook. Coachable, teachable, feminine. Do not be a feminist. Men want women that work hard, but not too hard and at the right things. Do not want a woman that wants a career more than a family. Okay, I guess that last one I can understand that over pretty much everything else because it doesn't matter what a woman wears as far as heavy makeup or eyelash extensions. There's going to be a man that wants her. So, I mean, I guess if you're saying for quote unquote wifey material, I mean, I guess I can see that because okay, because I will say this, being someone that you're attractive enough to have sex with is different than a different set of qualifications for a girlfriend, which is a relationship, but a different set of qualifications um to be a wife, right? Those are different qualifications, different standards. So, um, uh, so I can see the standards. If these are standards for what a man, quote unquote, or men basically want out of a wife, I can see some of these being quote unquote a standard. So onto this other list of, and like I said, these aren't my. I'm just watching social media, and these are the notes I took from it. These aren't like my, you know, takes or anything like that. Um, so words to stop saying, right? Partner, horoscope signs, looking for a connection, energy, trauma, toxic masculinity, my truth, healing, my narcissistic ex-boyfriend, my abusive ex-boyfriend, um, uh, essay accusations, um, don't judge, um, yeah, but let's see, manifesting, which equals I want to do no work and still get the outcome I want. As a woman equals to we know you're a woman. I did too much and I let him walk all over me. And I think what I did with these equal signs is I made a translation from what's being expressed and then what it kind of translate to. I think that's what I was doing here, maybe. Okay, I did too much and I let him walk all over me. Translation, I like cheaters and toxic men and will choose them and be toxic as well and admit and not admit any part to play except giving too much. Generational trauma. Translation, I make the same mistakes that my parents make and too dumb to learn from their mistakes. And instead, I'll make the same mistakes and blame it on them. I'm in my feminine energy, translates to men always stare and approach me. I will be submissive for the quote unquote right man. Uh, Men are trash, which translates to I take no accountability for the negative part that myself or any women play in relationships. He needs to make six figures. Translation, I have no emphasis on character. I don't need a man, but I want a man. Translation, I'm scared of commitment and don't know, appreciate, or respect the value of a man, relationships, or marriage. My ring costs this much. Translation, I'm materialistic and value a ring rather than a person. a thing, actually, a thing rather than a person. Financial abuse, translation, he would not give his hard-earned money over to me to spend on frivolously expensive things. I became feminine. Translation, someone convinced me that being masculine is wrong and unattractive to most men. I use my feminine only to trap a man into a relationship, then show my true colors. I need a man to maintain. I don't know what I was writing here. I'm gonna skip that one. We need to vibe, quote unquote vibe. Translation, my sexual attraction to said man, mutual sexual attraction ensues. I feel like, let's see. Translation, I have put zero intellectual thought into what I'm going to say. I'm traditional when I am single. Translation, I expect to receive 100% benefits of chivalry while not expected to return in kind. Who hurt you? Translation, a means to cheap deflection of taking accountability for a toxic behavior trait amongst most women. Internalized misogyny. Translation, a term used to excuse a man's concerns about toxic traits of girls and women during upbringing. I'm leveling up altogether. Translation, I earn more money in the workplace, but deserve a man that makes far more money than I do. Let's see. I think that's the end of the translations. So these are just, I think more words to stop saying. I need a man to be on my level. I'm a boss, babe. I'm a bad bitch. These men are broke and dusties. I am the table. I am a 10. He needs to add what I have in my life. Not all women. Oh, that's another translation. That is a problem with women, but I won't admit it's a problem. I need someone to match my energy. I am his piece. Broken men. Men are F-boys. My body, my choice. He hit me harder than I hit him. Body positivity. I am not fat. I am plus size or thick. Well, that one I disagree. I don't mind swapping that out. Plus size and thick. That's just me though. I personally, I personally, I'm gonna remove that one because we're not gonna go there. I like that. Anyway, small D energy. Yeah, we need to stop saying that shit. My ex was a narcissist. Yeah, I already said that one. No respect for my own mother. Yeah. So these are all the words and terms that we need to stop saying, only because these aren't conducive to a healthy and trustworthy relationship. Just saying. Just if nothing else, don't stay away from these words and terms because you're just asking for. I wrote these words down and these phrases down and these translations down for a reason. And the reason is none of these things that you're going to say is going to attract or impress me at all. It's not. And when we get down to the crux, we know what you're saying when you communicate these things. That's what the translations were for. The translations, yeah, you're saying this, but we know what it means. And we know what the flag is. And we will stay far away from it. If you're using this language to describe men, we're not, game over. How do you think if you see other men this way because you mention all this crap? What makes you think we're going to see us any different? Why would we approach you? Look at the language you use to talk about us. So here's some words to start saying. If words in a relationship or in any relationship is going to make it for 20 or 30 years or until the day you both check out, here are some words. I trust you. I support you. Okay, honey, I can roll with that. Thank you. I have your back. I'm making this for dinner tonight. I believe, or I think. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I help? I'm proud of you. I believe in you. I couldn't have done this without you. I couldn't do this without you. I need you. I love you. I miss you. I care about you. I want you. I admire you. I respect you. I respect your decision. You inspire me. Thank you for working so hard on this, whatever it was. Babe, I know you didn't mean it. I'll let this go. I'll let it go. It's not a big deal. Why don't we just work together on this until we solve it? We can do this. You got this. Yeah. Those. So all of this, you say these words in the midst of any relationship or whatever, marriage, and I've got a lot of this language from my dad and my stepmom. Like I was recording a conversation or something like that, and the language that they use to communicate with each other is completely supportive. Completely. It's always been supportive. They get into arguments and fight over the dumbest shit. But when it comes down to like there's a problem, like health or job related, they're 100% supportive of they're each other's support system. They're both cheerleaders. He makes in my father's relationship. No, not my father. Okay, my parents' relationship, because my stepmom's my parent too. In my parents' relationship, they are both responsible for each other's success. Whatever my stepmom has tried to do or is trying to do, my father pushes her to do it until she succeeds, and likewise. Like, ladies and gentlemen, in case you've never heard of this before, this is called a healthy marriage. That's what a healthy marriage looks like. These words are what it sounds like. In case you've never heard it. Now, I'm not going to put a camera phone or some kind of security camera in my parents' room just so I can show the world just how functional their marriage is. I mean, no, sorry. But believe me, 30 plus years of marriage, no one's leaving. For what? That's the kind of marriage in which you're saying you're leaving who for what? For what? Someone better? Like, no. Like, they're the best each other. They bring the best. A functioning relationship is one in which both people bring the best out of each other and support one another in whatever their endeavors are, including success or business or career or even healthcare, even health. Health is a scary thing. Like getting surgery and on your hand or on your eye or on your heart. Like my dad's, older now, he's had to go through a lot of like medical stuff. But my stepmom's right there. Well, she's a nurse, so she's in the industry, but she's right there. So it's just, like they take care of each other, like in so many ways. And that's I think what I'm trying to say is that's the kind of relationship and marriage I want, for myself. And I want my daughter to have that kind of marriage and relationship. One where two people are consistently supporting each other. And that's it. There's no yeah, there might be stupid arguments. That's a part of every relationship. But nobody's going anywhere. I've heard them argue about the stupidest thing. Dinner was still ready at 7. You know? And here's how I don't know how they do it, but whatever they're fighting over, it gets put to the side when they're eating. When you're eating, it's, usually it's all about me or something, or they talk about kids or whatever it is. But they will go right back to the argument. One will start saying something, then the other one, and then I'm like, oh, not again. But it's a healthy, functioning relationship. It just is. And that's what we all need to be striving for. Healthy, functioning relationships that last till whenever. And that's my spiel, I guess, on modern dating. You've got the Rosetta Stone, you have the language, you have the language of what to stop saying, and you have the language of what to start saying, and you have, it's what everyone should want. A healthy relationship, whether it turns into a marriage or not, is what everyone should be, chomping at the bit to get into. What else did I want to talk about? The next topic on my little banner thing here was, okay, our country can be saved by. I think I've went over this kind of before, but our country can be saved by is like kind of an idea, an open idea for people to start maybe kicking around ideas of how this country can be saved. How in all cities, all 50 states in this country, we are having a failure. We are witnessing a monumental failure of government. And because government is becoming a failure, the private sector is feeling the brunt of the incompetence that our society is allowing to kind of fall through the cracks. Basically, we're losing jobs. We're not having as much success with commerce. We're over here shutting down the government over food stamps and EBT benefits. Where Americans are struggling now more than ever. You know what I've been watching lately? You know what I've been seeing lately on social media? A lot of people living in like their cars or storage units. And it's like disheartening for me because yes, there is like 1 or 2 paychecks I miss, and I'm right along with these other Americans who are forced to live in their cars or in a storage unit, or if they can afford either one. I'm right along I'm nobody really special just because I sorry about that, just because I maintain this apartment does not make me quote unquote special. It means I'm barely hanging on myself. So I can relate. The problem is we have a system of governance that fail Americans to address their immediate needs, one of them being shelter. And we live in a society where we have more than enough um, um, residential areas that are completely empty and apartment complexes that are newly being built that can be rented out to homeless people by allowing government programs to take people who are homeless and put them into immediate housing. That is not an in 2025, that is an app. That is an app registration with some paperwork that needs to be looked over by some AI, and then some provable paperwork that needs to go through. And then after that, you use a smart lock passcode, you assign it to someone who's homeless. This is your new address. You need to get here. This is your new residency. They enter in the PIN code that's tied to their whatever situation, whatever it is. They now have access to this housing. They now can apply for jobs and participate in the labor market. Then they can start working and saving up money. Then they can actually participate in some social mobility instead of 100% depending on a government. And in 2025, our country can be saved by modernizing technology that would allow us to facilitate resources quicker, faster, and easier to those who need it the most. Um, Basically, we have millions of working poor in this country who are entitled to multiple benefits and probably multiple types of grants and funding from their state, local, and federal government that they're not unaware of. What my idea would be to bring the resources to these people, excuse me, by way of smartphone technology or application technology, meaning if you're signing up, your social security is tied to everything, right? How much money you make, how much money you used to make, how much education you have, what school you went to, what websites you've signed up for. With algorithms and the way they are built now, um, people who do not have access even to a smartphone can get access to a smartphone through some type of program where a mobile provider provides homeless people with devices in which these homeless people can have communication in order to either contact family that can provide them help or um, internet or a way of communicating that they need assistance from state and local services, things like that, or Department of Health and Human Services, whatever that may be. You get them devices, you get them to register for the state and city and municipalities. You get them to then you're able to then allocate paperwork and processing and resources in order to get them off into the streets and into a residency and then go from there. And I think that in 2025, this is not a far-fetched future sci-fi version of what America could be. We can have this tomorrow if we really wanted to work on this, right? Um, we have the infinity clients of the cloud platforms, Azure, Google, and Amazon, to create these systems, these systems which allow government to provide resources to its citizens who are in dire need in order to um, fix our problem with GDP, meaning uh, like for myself and people like myself who are business minded, maybe we're entrepreneurs, we need a place of investment where we can get access to loans and resources, whether it be brick and mortar or whether it be digital design, and be able to have people invest in our ideas and for us to hire people and contribute to society there, so on and so forth. So there are a lot of type of solutions that we can implement as a society that allows for upward mobility, for people to get out of poverty and into the middle class, the working class, and then from the working class maybe to the middle class, and then maybe to the upper class, depending on what have you. But it's all going to take like a collective effort for us to put in this money to allocate these resources in order to get people off the streets and in back into the labor market. And people who are in the labor market may need supplemental income in order to make it from month to month, only because their wages aren't enough to keep up with inflation and with rental costs and the cost of living. All of these can be done through aggregate algorithms that are tied to different banks and different I-9 and IRS submissions for labor in order to keep track with all this stuff. So um, also, in order to kind of, our country can be saved by, I believe, people in my era, millennials, 40-year-olds. Um, I think that people my age are smart enough and have seen the evolution of technology for long enough to understand the needs, the immediate need that our modern technologies can address. Um, Also, I think our country can be saved by democracy, by fighting for and instituting democracy as it's meant to be instituted in 2025. Meaning, if everyone has access to a smartphone or a device, you should be able to, in conjunction with the state legislator and the federal government, be able to register for voter registration, meaning your driver's license or your ID, which is often tied with your voter registration, can be federally recognized, and therefore um, you should be able to log into an app that allows you to participate in electoral contests and voting. Um, your biometric information, which is recorded by your irises or your face or your fingerprint, should be enough of a digital signature to certify that your ballot is not only valid, but it's tied to all of your other information within the state and the federal government. So therefore, it would prevent any allegations of fraud or impersonation. So I think our country can be saved by modernizing our government, radical modernization, our language, our constitution, our laws, how we write and designate resources and business and law um, and so forth needs a complete rewrite. It needs a complete update. Surely we can come up with much better rules for a modern society to live and abide by than the rules of 1776. Uh, Not to say everything needs to be destroyed, but it certainly needs to be updated and modified. Certainly. We need, and maybe as radical, it's not radical. As radical as it might sound to some people, we need a young enough government to come in and re-ratify the Constitution and have another constitutional convention in which all parties and interests need to have a serious discussion about what kind of rules we all need to agree and live by in 2025 moving forward. Um, I think that there are a better set of laws, rules, regulations, funding programs, how we build our infrastructure, um, who gets what, how much, where, when, why, how it's allocated, healthcare. education, retirement, social security benefits, retirement, home ownership, um, citizenship. How is it obtained? How long should it take? Immigration, who can go where, when, why, for what reason? All of these things that we see as quote unquote problems because of lack of documentation can be solved by creating documents. And documents now that we live in the intelligence era of AI can be generated. Meaning, if I walk down the street and I'm identified as someone who walked into a store and bought a bag of potato chips, then that information can go to some marketing agency that says, and then the Black Dragon likes barbecue Lay's potato chips. So somewhere on my feed, Lay's pops up and says, brought to you by, Lay's barbecue because he was seen, going in and buying it. So something like we live in that kind of an era where everyone and like anonymity is next to gone, like not gone but next to it. um Everyone can be found. um no one can be really hiding anymore. Everyone really needs to be brave enough to show their face. I mean, if you're going to be on a platform like this or any other platform, um people need to be not afraid to speak up but speak out, right? I'm speaking out. I'm not necessarily speaking up. I'm just speaking out. These are just, things that I've been thinking about for a while. But also, so our country can be saved a myriad of ways, and I was just going through, kind of a list. But for the most part, if elderly or elder people, statesmen and congressmen are occupying a space, and it's only because they've been bought and paid for by special interests or lobbies, then what we need is a complete um not whitewash. Sorry, not wrong word. Is a complete uh not takeover. Takeover is the wrong word. That's kind of like, we need a complete revamp of our government. The House needs to be full of people let's just put it this way: 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds need to start running for these offices and representing the interests. Like for instance, 20-year-olds are a demographic, right? So 20-year-olds is an age demographic that's an adult, right? You run for representative, you run for whatever government position you're able to run for, and you as a 20-year-old caucus have a constituency of what you need for your generation and for your age group. The same would be said for the 30-year-olds. The same would be said for the 40-year-olds. The same could be said for the this and this and that, right? Now, I'm not saying government 100% has to be structured that way. It would just be nice to have that kind of representation. That's what I mean when I say these age groups. Just to have the representation, that representation of a mixed age group instead of just people being over a certain age would probably have our government run that much more efficiently, since everybody in the demographics is addressed. It's not only addressed but represented in a herd at the table. And it can be to such an extent where um, people who are coming to this table when we're talking about Congress are going to have to be willing to compromise. And that willingness to compromise should be why you got elected into Congress, rather than I'm going to fight for just this one thing and then that's it. It should be fighting for the interests of your constituency and be willing to compromise at the table in order to get the short gains and the long gains at the same time. So our government can be made better. We have all the tools we need. We are the most intelligent set of generational people in America. So to figure this out, to read the Constitution again together, and to go through with a marker, find out what we need to cross out and what we need to add and edit. Like that shouldn't be this this thing. I mean, think about it. They've done it once before. If they've done it once before, we should be able to do it again. We shouldn't be so dug in so deep where we don't want to move off of these principles because how we personally feel about it. We should be thinking about us as a collective society trying to live in the place where it's better to wake up each morning rather than some dystopian nightmare in which you have no hope and resources are finite and things like that. Like, that's just not the world we need to create for ourselves, and that's not the kind of thinking we need to have walking into the room. So that's just one way I would say, not one way, but no, those are the type of things that I'm talking about when we're talking about our country can be saved by. A country can be saved by us, by Americans, with ourselves, right? And uh, that's kind of what I wanted to say. That's all I had to say about that. Um, our my last topic is our future. About our future. Our future can be saved by. Now, our future can be saved by coming up with new ways to take all of the modern resources that we have and reuse them or repurpose them for something else. Like we throw away we throw away a lot of waste, but the waste can be used for another purpose if we start thinking this way rather than thinking that we need to bury mountains of trash and garbage and disposable objects into the ground, into some big hole into the ground, and that it's just supposed to disappear one day. Like these are resources that made time and energy to make. If you reallocate those resources, you can repurpose them into something else that could last a lot longer or can serve the same purpose or greater purpose. So, you know, our future also can be saved by understanding what energy actually is and what energy actually isn't. A lot of people believe or have this belief that energy don't understand the difference between energy and fuel. Like gasoline is fuel, but solar is energy. Energy is infinite. Energy doesn't stop or end or cease one day. Energy is as infinite as the air we've been breathing for however long humans have been around. That is what energy is. Fuel, which is oil and fossil fuels, these things are finite, and these are some of the reasons why we have these like civil conflicts and invasions and wars and skirmishes over fossil fuels and fuel and how do we get this over somebody else when energy is free and needs to be harnessed in order to be used for our purposes all day all night. Energy does not come in one form and comes in all shapes and sizes, whether it be sun, wind, water, like all of these things are forever. We'll have them forever. Energy is something that we have forever to use as and utilize as human beings. We just need to be intelligent enough to design our society around energy and not fuel. Our future can be saved by this fundamental understanding and by having enough wherewithal to make this change and investment. We need to start investing in our energy production. Well, not energy production, but energy harnessing rather than fossil fuel harnessing. Fossil fuel is going to run out. Everyone's going to run out of fuel. No one's going to ever run out of energy. So, this is one of the ways in which I had an idea about how it was a what was it called? It was called the Emerald City Project, based off of the Wizard of Oz Emerald City. When you see the movie and you look at the Emerald City, I saw the glistening of the sun and the city being green. And I always thought that this was the future, like our future of how our future is going to look like. Meaning every building can absorb the energy of the sun, and because it can store, use, and transmit energy and to other buildings. So every building that has glass would be replaced with solar translucent windows, which can collect the solar energy and disperse it among each floor of the building. Um, and within that network, you would have so much solar energy, like within maybe a couple minutes of sunshine. Uh, but this is what I would kind of see our future being saved by: modernizing our infrastructure in order to harness energy rather than using fossil fuels or using fuel, which is going to run out. Fuel always runs out, energy doesn't. So, if we, like I said, if we invest in that simple fact, then all of the cars that we use, all of the technology that we use, should be rechargeable. We should be able to plug it in somewhere. It should be able to absorb energy and then slowly dissipate that energy during its use, just like your phone. So we already have that, I believe, with the Tesla and some other electrical vehicles. But every single mode of mass transportation and every single vehicle needs to follow the same suit in order for us to have a better future in which we no longer depend on fuel because we're harnessing nothing but energy. So, yeah, that's just one of the ways we can save our future. We can harness all of our resources that we throw away in the form of garbage and landfills and all that, and turn them and repurpose them into something else that's more longer lasting, or turn in or build something with it, or make something with it. Or also, we can start harnessing energy for our buildings, for our houses, for our cars, for our mass transit. Um, we can start also making our future can be saved by food, farming, taking uh, uh, horth, growth hormones out of our food. Why do I have a you see how I had to anyway, um, by removing growth hormones and all artificial hormones in our food, all of the poisons, all of the toxins, all of the harmful pesticides, all of these things removed from food and eating. um, we need laws in 21st century that says I myself can go right outside my door, take a plot of land, no, um, 5 by 5, 5 feet by 5 feet, and grow my own tomatoes, or grow my own peppers, and grow my own onions, and grow my own whatever vegetables that I can just consume every night for dinner. Or I know growing doesn't work that way, but I think you get the picture. Like, I should be allowed, and so should every single American, to grow their own food. I am not sure why that is not a thing. That should be, if that's, if some people do grow their own food, that, some people, the plant lady, whatever. I'm talking like on a massive scale. I'm talking, think about it. Would you even need EBT program if people can grow their own food? I mean, really, people would buy, sell, and trade their own vegetables with their neighbors for such and such. You would have a different type of commerce. You would have people who would register their own growth business and work with other people and partner with other people and create your own little neighborhood farm. These neighborhood farms can trade with other farms for things that they don't have. So, like, our future can be saved by Americans by seeing each other as Americans, exchanging information, we have more things in common. We should be doing more things together and investing in each other. We should be um, modernizing our government. We should be participating in our government. I do have to say one thing though about government. In the past 15 to 20 years, I have seen the United States pay more attention to politics and news and government now more than any time in American history that I can understand. Everyone may have been paying attention to Nixon. People cared, people didn't. But I have never seen a more participatory audience in the cyberspaces of politics than I do now. Now everybody's kind of involved. Um, Only like politics were for nerds. I mean, for geeks and political junkies. But now everyone's kind of a part of it. So in their own way. I mean, they heard this, they heard that, they listened to this person or that person. But I would say that I believe that the government's only function is to improve and sustain the lives of its citizens. And there are multiple ways of doing that. And one of them isn't discriminating one group and pitting one group against another. I mean, that's not how it's going to work in the United States. In the United States, we need to see everyone as Americans and we need an American party. We no longer maybe that's the thing. I don't know if I'll start it or somebody else will, but we need an American party, a party of Americans that is not, either Democrat or Republican, left or right, but just has good ideas on how to improve the lives of the constituency. An American party that says, we are Americans, I am an American, and so are you. We're going to start right there. We're going to start with, we're Americans. Let's start from there. Now let's have an argument. Or now let's have a discussion or debate. Like, what are we discussing or debating? People needs need to be met. So do yours. Are you telling me that you want to deny these people resources, but when it comes to you, you don't want to be told no? Like, no, you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to give a little to get a little. And there are people in my generation that grew up understanding that. So I think people in my generation need to probably step it up and start running for Congress or start running for governor, start running for mayor, start running for dog catcher. We have to participate in if we're gonna keep, if we love this country, if we want to have a functioning government, if we love this country and want it to become a better place for all citizens, every day you wake up in the morning, if you want a better job with more money, if you want better healthcare, if you want better mass transit, if you want faster internet, if you want better smartphones and better technology, if you want a better life and a lifestyle, if you want affordability, if you want a decent and affordable education for you and your family and your children and your future generations, if you want the laws to change to benefit people, if you want laws that allow you to expand your business or make more money or do trade globally instead of just within the local United States, but take your ideas internationally. If you want uh, an investment in stocks, bonds, and in other businesses, if you want to start doing businesses and commerce not only within your state but across the state, if you want to be able to travel for business and meet with clients in order to expand your client list, if you want a better society where modern dating can be improved because everyone is up on their business, everyone's up on their game, everyone knows what they're looking for, no one's expecting something that's too crazy. If you want to have a better functioning relationship and marriage, you can get off of social media when you're in a relationship. You can always add those back later when you're single. One of the things, like, you have to be able to put some skin in the game. I myself, well, with this platform, whatever, like I myself, like I think I mentioned this before, but the craziest thing that I ever thought, that job that I could possibly apply for, is president of the United States, right? And it's a job that has decision making skills that you need. It's a job in where you need discernment. It's a job in where you need to create functioning relationships between world leaders. It's a job in which you can be in a room with very powerful people and negotiate either peace treaties um, or status of forces agreements, or you need to gain trust amongst your allies. You need to be able to have mutual interests with people. You need to be able to shake hands and do business. People need to be able to trust you. People need to be able to rely on you. You need to be able to take accountability for when things go wrong and not be afraid of taking credit when things go right. You need to be able to say no to a lot of people just because special interests are looking to always buy and own a person rather than trust and work with them. You need to be able to um, resist the temptation to uh, indulge in stepping over your boundaries when it comes to your citizens in this country. Their rights and freedoms matter just as much as your power and authority. You need to be able to work with Congress, both the House and the Senate, respecting the leadership, hearing both parties out, coming to an agreement that benefits all parties involved. Um, you need to be able to have honest conversations, long drawn out conversations with your constituents and people who are concerned about their situation. And you need to be able to reassure people about that their government has their best interests at heart, whether domestically or internationally. Like, you need to be able to um, uh, um, give people freedom rather than try and take it away. You need to be able to make sure that things that are harming your constituency in society are addressed. You need to be able to address the movement of people in and out of the country. You need to be able to address taxes, law, paperwork, documentation, all through management, all through technology. You need to be willing to be open to having a revolutionary system of either voting and polling and getting people's opinions. You need to be able to accept the harsh feedback and criticism and be able to address it without losing your temper or without shutting down and walking away. Like, yeah, so there's a lot in being president. So I've thought about it. I thought about like running for president, but this was like in 2024. I mean, this is 2025. So I haven't like thought about it in a while, but this is when I was thinking about it. These are the type of thoughts that would kind of run through my head, right? Like, what would I have to do? How would I have to do it? And I would also need like the number one thing about, if I were to one day hypothetically in another universe become president, like I'd have to hopefully get sent a Congress of people who are mature adults that are willing to work together in order to resolve issues for their constituents and the American people at large. Like, the job, doing our job, conversing with each other, and getting things done and signed into law would be one of the main focuses on the daily basis as president if I'm waking up with that job every morning. But I mean, until then, I'm just a skinny dude with glasses, like talking shit on YouTube and TikTok. But these are the things that I would say our society in America can be saved by, and how we have the power to change our country for the better and move it in a better direction where it's headed right now. Um, we can decide that we can end that homelessness is a crisis of an issue that Americans face, and home insecurity is a crisis that we must face and tackle and take on. And if we can tackle homelessness and financial insecurity of homelessness, that's one of the steps that government can take in ensuring our nation's growth, meaning we're taking an entire population and putting them into a potential labor market and where our GDP can grow and we can better compete among the world stage, and uh, have upward social mobility for these people who can work hard, get educated, start their own businesses, and maybe participate in domestic and international commerce. So, yeah, that's just my crazy ideas as an old man. I don't know, old. I don't know. I'm 43. But I got my stripes. I got Tiger got white stripes. So I got my salt and pepper going on. So hey, with these gray hairs come wisdom, and with these glasses come intelligence. At least it kind of looks like it, which is why I wear them. I mean, they're computer glasses. I really don't. They're not prescription or whatever. But anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share. I don't know how to do like this thing where I can talk to people and add people up and or something. I mean, I'm not sure how all that works yet. I think that's called guest access or something like that. And there's probably a button or some buttons on here that allow you to do that, or something. I don't know if I have that access. I don't know how to do it. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not kind of. Ow! I'm not kind of versed on that. See, I hurt myself. Ow! What's the microphone thing? Uh, anyway, let me get out of here before I do more damage to myself and hurt myself. But I want to thank everyone on TikTok who did join in. I can see people who joined and kind of listened to me talk my shit. And on YouTube, I think you guys left some comments, so I'll probably read those in a little bit. So at least someone, so I know someone listened. La la la. I know someone was listening. Eh? Huh? Okay. So yeah. So anyway, it's Saturday afternoon, November 15th, 2025. I hope you guys still enjoy the videos I put out. I think I put on one earlier on both YouTube and TikTok. So I hope you guys check that out and tell me what you think. You can look at all my videos and tell me what you think. But leave comments, like, subscribe, especially for my videos. I don't go live very often, so I mean, I have this set up now. I'm set up to go live. I have my camera, I have my phone, I have my camera, so I can do both. It's stream at the same time. But anyway, like leave a comment or something, or a like or whatever. Tell me what you think, what you did. Actually, tell me if you agree with anything, right? If you agree with anything or you disagree with something, let me know. I mean, I'd like to, talk about it, debate about it, whatever. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip. And I'll hit you guys up later, give you guys the rest of your Saturday back. I might join a panel if I'm invited up somewhere. So that might happen. If not, I'll probably wind up cooking some stuff. But yeah, everybody have a good Saturday and peace out.